Happy New Year from Planet Xbox Podcast. Well, thanks for screwing up the intro. But
they'll be fine. They'll be fine. I just realized we in a new year.
Yeah, but this is the first video of the new year. Yeah, the first podcast of the new year. No, not for you. Yeah. Well, welcome everyone. New episode, Planet Xbox Podcast, hosted, powered by Weapon Wheel Podcast, Weapon Wheel Patreon. Thank you guys so much for giving life to this podcast each and every time we feel like doing it. But I know it's been a busy holiday week. We're entering a new year. Everybody's returning from different types of vacations, and video games are about to start coming out again at a decent cadence. And they're saying 2025 is going to be one of the best years in so long. They say that every year, though.
They do say that every year.
2023 was what they said the best since 2008. Is that what it was? That was a token year?
Yeah, they be. Every year is the best year.
Every year is the best year. Just like there's been like some trash years, and I still think the game of the year. I feel like one of the best years for me in gaming, in terms of like as far as the amount of games I enjoyed in a calendar year, was 2021. And to me, I feel like I don't feel the game of the year that year was representation of all the amazing games that came out in 2021. I feel like a lot of games deserved a shot and they didn't. But I respect what's name, because he's a cool dude, man. It takes
Keighley?
No, not Jeff Keighley. The dude that made Joseph Fares, I think.
Let's be honest. He's essentially made nothing but bangers.
Yeah, and he's got another one coming in a few months. Yeah,
I have nothing but faith in him.
Yeah, he's been consistently reliable to drop a banger. So this episode we're going to be talking about our upcoming our most anticipated games for 2025. We're going to be talking about Xbox Developer Direct, assuming it gets announced by the time you guys are watching the video. I'm not sure. And a couple things that we've been playing. As you guys may know, by the time you're watching this, you might know that as far as Weapon Wheel Podcast and Weapon Wheel Podcast news, Black Bond, unfortunately, he's no longer part of the podcast. Good thing we don't have to do this show live, because I'm pretty sure that would have been like a lot of questions we have to answer. Pretty much,
what you don't know, so it's pointless to ask us. Like,
yeah. No, I would just say this: it's no drama, just going in a different direction. Obviously, Pano had really nothing much to do. The decision was made.
That's my biggest thing. I'm always going to give an opinion on something, but I do feel. BG, if you're listening to this, like, the man did spend 9 years on a show, and even if difference of opinion on where the show is going to go and where the show wasn't going to go, I do feel like Bun at least deserved a conversation. Even if that conversation went nowhere, when you dedicate that much time of your life to something, I do feel like BG's 100% in the wrong when it comes to that. Now, obviously, he's got his own reasons, and, I am not in the business of telling other men how to handle their business. But I do feel like, from my perspective, BG, you should have at least tried to make a middle ground. Maybe it still led to him leaving the podcast, but at least it would be like, look, we tried to have this conversation. We couldn't come to a middle ground, and Bond ended up stepping away from the podcast, because I do feel like the way things went down, it just puts like when Smoove's next. Now, that might not be what's going on behind closed doors, but from the outside looking in, someone dedicates that much of their life and they didn't even get what's going on thing. It just looks bad.
I mean, how I say it is, like, obviously, the history of the show, obviously, I feel like Bond has, matured and grown over the years. So have I. I have a mutual respect for him, and I'm sure he'll, Bond's a big personality. Whatever he does, he can find some success for. I know there's a bunch of people already recruiting him, but I really don't. Honestly, I don't know really how it should have gone. You know what I mean? None of these things are, meant to, last forever. I'm just, it's 2025. I think the podcast started in 2015, which has been an incredible run. But we've seen people go, we've seen people come, people go, obviously the people that started that were a part of the podcast, that the once the show opened versus now, it's different. There's only the remaining BG. Obviously he's the host, he's the owner of the podcast. There's obviously Jack Move, who's been a pillar. Me, I've been there, surprisingly been managing to been able to stay on the podcast this long. Obviously Heart 8, is out. That was kind of that was ugly, and that process took actually longer. Jimmy B Gaming, and then but go ahead.
And I think the reason that I don't like the way it was handled is because when Bond does all of his videos, how does he open them up? Smooth. This is Weapon Wheel. Check out every member. To me, I will say, I don't know if you watched Bond's video. Did you watch Bond's video?
I've watched the first one. I ain't watched whatever he just did today. I haven't.
Okay,
I ain't got
did
to
the
it
first
yet.
one. I'm referring to the first one. That's the most vulnerable I think I've ever seen Bond. It didn't seem like he was trying to shit on anyone. It didn't seem like he was trying to attack anyone. No. That is not the Bond that I thought I was going to see in that video. I potentially thought I was going to see Bond go fucking nuclear. But he didn't. Because I feel like he's more confused than anything. And he probably knows the reason BG got rid of him overall in the grand scheme of things. And look, BG is the host of the podcast. It's up to him regardless. It just, to me personally, and BG definitely if you watch this, I feel like he deserved a conversation. That's me. It's like equivalent to Cognito waking up one day and say, Addict, you out. What? Block. Did he block Bond?
Yeah, I'm not going to discuss what happened. I mean, whatever's out there is out there.
It was publicly. He blocked Bond before he even made the announcement. To me, I don't even know. I'm not expecting you to answer this. I don't even know if they've had a conversation.
I'm pretty sure they've had a conversation. I'm almost certain they've had a conversation.
I don't know because the way
between
is making it seem.
Today's at the time of this recording, between December 31st and January 4th, Bond and BG definitely had some sort of conversation. They had to, and don't worry, Bond's definitely has gotten paid. I
do.
They've had to have a conversation between. Now and then, I'm almost certain I can probably say that with all accuracy. They probably call Bond up right now and just tell, yeah, they definitely had a conversation. So
I think that's just my biggest thing. It's we're not talking about just a regular person that was brought onto the show like Jimmy B Gaming or Alex. Talking about an original founding member that put a lot of time into the brand, and I do feel like even if they had individual disagreements on how the podcast should be ran, there should have been still some form of respect because of how long Bond put on the show, and that's my thing. And it's I was gonna send BG a message just saying that because I didn't want to him to catch it off guard because I got mad love for BG. I've said on multiple occasions BG is one of the few people in this industry that he doesn't care how big you are. He doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care about the color of your skin. BG will give anyone an opportunity as long as you're entertaining and you don't take stuff too serious. And you can't say that about a lot of people in this industry. But that's it. We don't have to go too much on to that. I just wish it could have been handled a little bit better in terms of let Bond and him having a conversation. If they've had one now, then it is what it is, I suppose.
All right, so let's get into it. But shout out to BG, shout out to Black Bond. When we return to Weapon Wheel Podcast after this, holiday break, I'm pretty sure that's going to be an intriguing episode. So yes, right now I've been, people are mad at me online because
what'd you do now?
No, they're just mad because I'm dishing out dirt when it's. People dish negative dirt on Xbox all the time, and Xbox fans, they do whatever they can. They wake up breakfast, lunch, and dinner it's like a clock, right? PlayStation fans and grifters from 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and even later, they are finding ways to grift or try to upset the Xbox fan base. I typically dish maybe at this point on a quarterly basis, meaning like, I feel like being a dick today. And when I'm a dick against PlayStation fanboys, people take it personally as if I'm violating some sort of civil right or something like that. And that's pretty much what's going on now. People are all in their feelings. They don't like it's like people are mad because I'm telling them something. So right now, well, if people haven't been paying attention, but like 2024, despite Astrobot winning Game of the Year, to me, I consider 2024 a piss poor year content wise for PlayStation. Even though they had, because every exclusive they had or whatever, or marketed game had, whatever, was, essentially third party. Square Enix and a bunch of other, Japanese publishers or things that they brought out. I think Astrobot was the only really, in Lego Horizon, which was a full blown multi-plat, was and MLB The Show, obviously full blown multi-plat. Were the only things like their first party produced. I think Lego Horizon Adventures, which is actually decent, was in collaboration with I think is it Sumo Digital? It's a studio. Obviously, and Lego does the licensing and stuff like that. Astrobot, it is what it is. It's Game of the Year, so I'll give it that. But PlayStation fans try to take credit for everything that's not theirs. They try to take credit for Final Fantasy, try to take credit for Black Myth Wukong, which I think is insanely overrated. Try to take credit for they stole Stellar Blade. Project Eve was a multi-plat. So hopefully they buy the studio, since they like just taking the game away from other platforms. Helldivers actually doesn't belong to PlayStation. I think the IP belongs to PlayStation, but the studio that makes it doesn't belong to PlayStation. They don't own the studio. It's not a first party studio. So with that being said, they didn't have any like major hits, but everybody's so happy. Oh, they outsold Xbox and they're so happy about this and that and a third. And I feel like, and it is one of the reasons why I sold my PlayStation 5 Pro. It's like, okay, this thing is going to sit here and collect dust for probably another 13 months because there's not content out here that I'm interested in playing. And we're entering a year, 2025, where I feel like as an Xbox fan, this is one of the, again, for the first time year, you literally don't need a PlayStation console to get the absolute best games coming this year, because the majority of the games, like Xbox is producing like a good percentage of the games that are coming out this year, whether they're multi-plat, whether they're Xbox exclusive. Obviously, they're all going to Game Pass, and then everything else is a full blown like straight multi-plats. You know what I mean? And I think that it's for a long time, obviously some years you're like, oh man, Spider-Man's coming out, God of War's coming out, Horizon's coming out, got to be like a must play. I don't, to me, in my opinion, I don't think last year there was a must play on PlayStation. And I don't think this year, I know people saying if Ghost of Yotei, Wolverine's not coming out this year, I don't believe that's happening. I don't think they're going to have like, a must have game this year. They'll still sell, more than Xbox. They'll some game will sell. Consoles they'll still outsell Xbox at the end of the day, because most the PlayStation consumers, they're just being hoodwinked at this point. But Xbox in general will have the absolute best games this year. But with that being said, what games are you currently working on, Addict?
I've been playing Fantasia and Neo Dimension for like 2 weeks now.
Oh yeah, you have been. You have been. That's that turn-based RPG, right?
Yeah, I still haven't beat it.
Wow, you're a gamer. You have like over 600 gamer score in that thing, right?
Yeah, I'm. See, essentially, like in this game, it's very interesting how they do it, but you have like games have like New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Well, this game has New Game Plus, but it's different than your traditional New Game Plus. How they handle it is, let's say you have to do a side quest, and when you do the side quest, they direct you to this machine, and if you activate the machine, it sends you back to the beginning of the game. So you could go back to New Game Plus before the game is even completed. And it raises because I know there's some secret super bosses that are level 99, and I knew in order for me to hit 99, I would have to trigger that New Game Plus because I get more XP. So I was like, look, my goal is to beat the boss. My goal is to beat the actual super boss. So in my mind, the best thing I can do is go ahead and just level up myself to 99. So I just triggered New Game Plus before I was on the last boss, and I triggered it before I beat him.
Why?
Because I particularly I went back to the game, and now I'm back exactly where I was. But now when I complete like a set of matches, I gain like 40,000 experience instead of like 10. So I went from like level 87 or 82 to almost 94 in like half the time.
Gotcha. All right. I mean, I there's not really a game that I'm currently working on right now. I've been trying to like cycle through things. I've been trying to get the 100% completion on Indiana Jones, and I would have had it a long time ago, but I'm waiting for. I've been in contact with Machine Games and Bethesda support. I'm almost certain it has to be a bug that's stopping me, because there's like I got one more book in Giza to get. It's not available. I can't grab it. The icon is there. I can't grab it. They said try doing a side mission that could trigger it. And I'm like, dude, I did every possible side quest activity in the game. I got literally like two things to do.
Where are you? Are you in a captain's room?
No, I'm like for Indiana Jones.
Yeah, because I had a glitch that happened there.
No, it's inside. So in Giza, there's these random base camps. One of them is like there's like a stage, like if they have like a rock concert, and there's a tent next to it. In that tent, there's.
Oh, so you're having a hard time 100%ing it.
Yeah, there's this. I'm trying to grab Slugger 1, the book, because I got Slugger 2, but I found Slugger 2 was the last book I found. Well, I technically didn't find it. It's there, but I can't grab it because it's not there. It's just the icon that's there. And then the other thing is I have there's one quest left, and it's called the Royal Frequency. I have to give Gina 4 Royal Frequencies cards, radio frequency cards, and that last place where we have to ride around in a boat. I think it's Sukate. Whatever it is, she's like glitched, so she won't get, like, the thing is when you call for the boat, she doesn't get off the boat. She can't take the radio frequencies because she doesn't get off the boat. When you get on the boat, you can't give it to her on the boat. She has to be next to the radio. When you dock the boat to get off next to the radio, she pretty much disappears and she like spawns somewhere in the middle of the freaking like map. And it's like, okay, I can't do that one. And then one of the last things I need to do is get all those ancient relics. In the last place, they're hidden behind these stupid cog puzzles. Now, I only have 3 cogwheels, and I think they're all either glitched out or just they disappeared, but I can't get no more than 3 because they're not available for me to grab. And I can't do the cogwheel puzzles because I only have 3 cogwheels, and the minimum you need is 4 for one of the puzzles, but you need all the way up to 10 to complete all of them. And that's where, like, so I'm like essentially 5 achievements short of the collectible. One of them is mission based, which is bugged behind the Royal Frequency. The other one is getting all the books, which is bugged because the book just won't disappear. So I've been installing it, and waiting for an update. Like, again, the game, nothing's wrong with the base game. Still, my game of the year last year was a great game, but I'm just frustrated because now I'm trying to get the 100% completion, and like I can't seem to fix any of those. I feel like these are glitches. I don't think I have nothing absolutely left to do in any region in these games, with the exception of the stuff that are actually like essentially bugged for me. So that's that. But I've been trying to. No, I bought a couple Tomb Raider games for Xbox 360 to see if I can get into them. Yeah, and then there's honestly, I'm probably just going to like just hold off and just wait until February. That's when all really the bangers come out. Did Xbox announce their January drops for Game Pass? Because I don't recall seeing.
I think I saw someone tweeting about it.
Yeah, but they tweeted like 3 things and none of them like matter. Like one of them was like an old ass like maybe World of Warcraft or something like that, and one's like UFC. But I'm talking about the Xbox official post for.
I haven't seen nothing about that.
Yeah, which is strange. They owe us the updates. I'd like to see what their what January drops are, for sure. Oh, they just added Carry On again. I thought that was always in Game Pass, but yeah. So fairly quiet so far for this month. Now, let's talk about it. Xbox Developer Direct. I think we get an announcement. I'm going to say Monday, January 6th. What do you think?
Maybe Tuesday. Don't they normally launch stuff on Tuesdays?
Yeah. I forget what day they typically do the announcement, but I forget what day the showcase is typically on. Because I know the summer showcase is generally a Sunday. The Developer Direct, though, that's typically in the middle of the week. So I'm usually at work, and I'm going to say that's usually either, you think, a Thursday or a Friday?
Probably Thursday.
And if that's a Thursday, then I anticipate Xbox Developer Direct 2025 to be January 23rd. And it would be ideal that they give us like a 2 weeks notice. 2 weeks notice would be this week, so between the 6th and the 9th. What do you think is going to be there? There's generally 5 games. What do you think going to be the 5 games there? There's usually 4 plus a surprise.
Doom. South of Midnight for sure.
Mm-hmm.
With the release date, South of Midnight. Outer Worlds 2. Maybe the surprise would be Final Fantasy 16.
Nah, not for a port. They generally, even though Square Enix, what game did Square Enix bring to the showcase last year? I feel like
Visions of Mana.
Visions of Mana, and that game's out right now, right? That's out, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think my list is obviously similar to yours. Studio wise, obviously, I think Obsidian, id, Compulsion.
You think Avowed's there?
I do think Avowed there. I think Avowed. They have a double feature. I think they have to talk about Avowed because Avowed comes out next month, and you have to give it some more promotion. I think they got to show off.
I feel you, and it makes sense, but I don't like it. Like it's just like to me, these events should be like there's enough games where it's like don't re-show stuff that you showed last year because to me you don't have to. You got plenty of games.
What if question have Obsidian themselves shown off the third person portion yet? Or
I don't know. I don't know if they have an official trailer. I know people know what it looks like.
Yeah. So, because the thing is that what if they, it's just a quick update. It doesn't even like a quick like, hey, just a reminder like Avowed's due, next month. A Gone Gold trailer. It's they show off the third person action. Maybe they confirm that it's a hotkey now, and maybe you press down on a D-pad and boom, you go from first person to third person or something like that. Maybe this is where they confirm performance mode for console version potentially. If they they confirm like, hey, performance mode, da da da.
Now, okay, if they hit you with a performance mode, then all right, let's let it. Yeah, I'm with that. But if there's no performance mode, game launches in like 2 weeks. Don't have this sucker there.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, I just feel like so I do think that it has a real potential, but I do think Obsidian's there with not that I do think their main showcase would be the Outer Worlds. And they'll probably tag it for fall 2025.
Now you know what would be good if they showed the Outer Worlds and they show the Outer Worlds as a performance mode, and then they say, "Oh yeah, and Avowed's gonna have a performance mode." I would be okay with that. Because to me, it's like they've already shown enough of the game. Just let the game come out and stand on its ground at this point. Like, I don't want them wasting, people's time at this event when this game already had its shine. You don't need to be there again.
They didn't show off the character creator yet, so maybe there's a couple of things they can confirm. Maybe they can maybe they take out the bullshit that made everybody mad. Like,
no, I doubt it. The way that studios talk behind closed doors with those Slack messages and stuff being deleted, they're standing on that.
Yo, all right, let me just bring this up and break character for a moment. Oh my god. So I was rewatching, and you know how I did my video for the Developer Direct, right? Before I did that video, I watched Developer Direct last year, like for last January. I rewatched it, and I noticed that dude. What's his name? Do you remember his name? The one that pissed everybody off with his comments.
Matt something.
Matt Hansen or something. Matt Jansen or something like that.
Yeah.
There was a point where they did the camera cut. I wanted introducing the studios when they're going to whichever studio. I think Obsidian was the first, studio that they went, and they showing all the people. He was the guy doing cartwheels in the hallway. I was like, there's some random ass dude doing cartwheels. Like, why is this dude so freaking happy? But I thought it was funny. But yeah, I do think Obsidian, the focus is going to be Outer Worlds, but I do think Avowed shows up some way, somehow, with some confirmations and stuff like that. South of Midnight, definitely. I feel like these guys are ready to go. I think South of Midnight, we get an exact release date. Yeah, I think sometime either March, early April, if not late March. Doom, I think we get a release date as well, like a June release date. And I think this is going to be one of those directs where, for the most part, 75% of the stuff that's shown is going to be games that are releasing prior to their summer showcase.
I don't think Fable's there.
I don't think Fable's there either. I think Fable is they get its own direct after their summer showcase. I think Call of Duty is going to open the show I know we're running up, but as far as Call of Duty being like the big thing, of course it's the big thing, but I think Call of Duty will open the showcase in the summertime. The summer showcase, I think Call of Duty opens it, and then Fable will have its own developer direct at the end. And Playground's no stranger to it, because even when they showed their Forza Horizon 5, that was something like a direct when we first saw Forza Horizon 5 at that showcase, and I think in 2021. But I think Fable's going to get that treatment this year, so that's why I don't think it's at this direct. The fifth, so I said Avowed, Doom, South of Midnight. I think I think Atom Fall might be the third party maybe game that's there. But there's generally a surprise though. I don't know if that would be a surprise at that point in time. It's already on the game coming to Game Pass, I think, and it has a release date. Oblivion, obviously. I think we both had Oblivion remaster on our list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oblivion, which, okay, they might try. What they'll probably do, they might actually try to keep that as the surprise, right? It won't show up on the original announcement, like when they announce the 4 games that are there or whatever. But when it does happen, it will be the surprise studio. But it's not much of a surprise since it's pretty much leaked. But I think they have an incredible like showcase, and then that sets up when you have a showcase like that. That means the summer showcase is going to be bonkers. It's exactly like last year. Last year, I feel like they had a good developer direct with like every game that was highlighted was essentially a banger. And then what it did was it just when the summer came, it was just nothing but bangers. So 2025, man, is shaping up to be a great year. I think Xbox has a legitimate good year. And when I say I feel like Xbox has had multiple good years, but previous years they've always been contested by a bunch of dickheads and fuckboys. But I feel like this year they have a legit case where I feel like they will drop a title or two that's in the Game of the Year category. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that this is the year that Xbox will release of all the games they're releasing. I think they have 2 games in the Game of the Year category at minimum. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think it depends. First off, if GTA comes out, it's getting one for sure.
Yeah.
Right now, I would say there's good games coming out next year, but I don't think, as of right now, we don't know any that, like, we know is going to be, there's no Witcher, like, no Fallout type of game coming out next year. I would say there's solid experiences coming out next year. Next year kind of looks like this year, just a little bit more stacked. But I wouldn't say there's any games that, like, you see, like, oh, that's it. That's that game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's so obviously the crazy thing is the year starts off so February is very, very heavy, right? You got February is loaded with obviously Assassin's Creed Shadows, which this is a big moment for Ubisoft because this is a make or break. That's what they're saying, is a make or break for them. I'm hyped for Ubisoft. I love the games Ubisoft does. I think Ubisoft gets a lot of unnecessary hate for some damn reason. You got Kingdom Come, which the first game had a lot of potential. This one seems like it's going to be that like game that everybody says, wait a minute, they might work their way into some nominations. You got Monster Hunter, the new Monster Hunter game. You also got obviously Avowed, and I give Avowed more so the respect that it's Obsidian, and Obsidian typically doesn't miss. You know what I mean? They don't make bad games, and I think Avowed. I don't believe that Avowed is going to be like in a game rated in the 70s. I think the game that they release, I think it's going to be a mid 80s game for sure. You got so February is relatively busy. It's real busy, and then obviously March there's some games and whatnot. What is your most anticipated game not from Xbox?
Probably the Expedition game.
Expedition 33. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that game. I don't know if I'll make it only because it's turn based, and I'll see a game that looks really good.
You're gonna drop that
and
game
then I'll play it, and then I'll end up dropping it because my brain just won't allow me to like just enjoy the gameplay loop of just doing that. But it does look does look attractive. You know what I mean?
You're gonna talk shit the whole time you're playing that.
I'm gonna try to give it a serious chance, man. I'm really am. I'll try to give it a serious chance. My most anticipated game out that's not coming from Xbox, I would say it's going to be there's a couple games, man. Assassin's Creed Shadows is definitely there, but my only reservation about Assassin's Creed Shadows is Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't like Ghost of Tsushima at all. That's the only. But the thing is, there hasn't been an Assassin's Creed in the last 6 years, 6-7 years that I didn't like. Well, Mirage, because I didn't like that. I didn't like Mirage, but in this new age of assassin RPGs, they haven't really failed me. So I'm going to say it's somewhere. It's Assassin's Creed Shadows or Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is really high on my list. And for those who's saying, what about Grand Theft Auto? I don't know what, until we get a release date for Grand Theft Auto, that's that. But I've never been an actual, I've been in the hype
of that game until I actually see like gameplay and stuff.
I've been inside the hype of Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, it's gonna be lit, but I've never really Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto to me is one of those games where it's a zeitgeist that I have to buy into. I buy it, but I won't actually indulge and play it. The last Grand Theft Auto that I really put serious time into was San Andreas. The last Grand Theft Auto I beat, none of them. I didn't beat a single Grand Theft Auto game.
I beat Grand Theft Autos before then.
Yeah, so that's why it's like yeah. So and I don't know why. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know if it's the game, the way the game plays. I don't know. And if Red Dead Redemption 2 is any indication of how Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to play, then I want no parts of it. That shit was boring, too realistic. All that immersive, sim realistic. It's like, yeah, the graphics are amazing. Yes, like everything is like super detailed, but honestly, what happens is the fun factor drops off extremely quick when you do all that shit in video games. So that's one thing. That's why I like about the type of games Ubisoft makes, and at Xbox they have like this gamified factor that actually makes it fun. So what is your most anticipated game from Xbox Game Studios or an Xbox studio or an Xbox publisher?
Fable. I'm more excited for Fable than GTA.
Yeah. I'm more excited for Fable than GTA myself. Now, so me personally, I'm super excited for Fable, but my hype level is probably not where your hype level is because you have history with the previous Fable games, right? You kind of the lore, so there's a lot of anticipation for you. I'm just my excitement for Fable because one is Playground games. I think they're dope. I think that what we saw graphically from the game looks awesome, and I think the game's gonna be. I from what I see, I feel like the game's going to be a little bit more modern to what I'm used to playing versus what makes it so hard for me to go back to those previous Fables. I try to go back, and I might need you to. Which one of them is co-op? Is it the third one or the second one? Or
both.
Both one.
Second and third one are co-op.
I have to try. Every time I try, I just can't get whatever it is that's the loop is just not working for me. So there's that, but Fable, like it's definitely my most anticipated game, and by the time we get to the summer showcase, it's definitely going to jump to number one. But for me right now, my most anticipated game for Xbox this year, outside reason why I'm not going to say Fable because I know Fable was further down to line. It was like pretty much what Indiana Jones was like last year. I was excited for Indiana Jones, but at that point, I was like, man, that shit's so far down. I'm not even like worried about it now. But Hellblade was my most anticipated at that point. Hellblade and freaking Avowed, but Avowed got delayed. I would still say Avowed is my most anticipated game, and then in a close second is Outer Worlds 2. And the reason why Avowed is my most anticipated because I can just touch it. It's coming out next month. So I'm just really looking, and I've been looking forward to that game for a long time. I saw what you obviously got to play. And all it did was just like, yo, I just can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm definitely looking forward to Avowed. So Avowed right now is my number one game, most anticipated game, and then the Outer Worlds 2, and then Fable. And I say that only because the order of releases. Avowed's coming first, and I think Outer Worlds 2 is coming out. I think Outer Worlds 2 is probably September, and I think Fable, it's a lock for like November. I don't know when Grand Theft Auto is coming out. I hate when games hold up other games. There was like Avowed. What the hell was Avowed moved for? I'm trying to think. What game were they afraid of?
I think that's back when like Assassin's Creed Shadow and all of them was coming
and Dragon Age
month.
And all that stuff. Dragon Age Veilguard and stuff like that. Yeah. But Dragon Age didn't blow the socks off. It's a decent game. I will say Dragon Age Veilguard is a good game. It's definitely good, but it didn't do that crazy thing though.
I enjoyed it, but I'm not one of these people that are going to act like they weren't trying to push some agenda on you. Yeah. They were clearly trying to, but I was willing to overlook it because the product itself was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to pick it back up. I'm stuck on like a fight. Is that game multiplayer?
No.
I'm about to say I'm stuck on this like, and it's not even like a mainline battle. It's just like a thing that I just want to just clear off the map, and I'm struggling with it. This boss like flames up the whole entire floor, and you run out of places to really like go in the combat. And I'm like, I don't know. I had a rough time with it. I have to get back to it. But yeah, man. I think this year is going to be very, very, very good. Overall, there's a lot of good content there. I think, and I don't want to oversell it. I think what's going to happen is February and March is going to have some good gems, and then things are going to get real quiet between the months of like between April and freaking between April and August is going to be like this lull, right? And then I think things pick up again September through the holiday. I think it's gonna be top heavy and like bottom heavy, or from calendar like top of the year, end of the year heavy. And I think there might just be a lull in the middle. There might be some gems here and there. And Grand Theft Auto should just try to launch in the freaking summer, dude. Just like, didn't one of them launch in the summer? Like, was it 5 that launched in June? Or something like that.
I don't remember.
I feel like them.
I think 5 launched in the holidays, but I couldn't tell you.
Nah. Because 5 came out, and didn't 5 come out in 2013 or 2012?
2012.
2012. Okay, and I think 4 came. Damn, they're. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's Yeah, and
I mean, we can address the elephant in the room. There's a lot of people that's like, for some reason, have this mindset that like just because Xbox is going more multiplayer and all these games are eventually gonna end up on PlayStation, most likely. Like, have you noticed like we're not supposed to be excited about the games? Because I thought this was about the games like in general. Like, look, I disagree with the way Xbox is handling they dumbass practices, and I don't know if it's going to work out for them or not.
Absolutely.
But like, don't get this twisted. From the beginning, it was always about the games, and you can't say you can agree or disagree how Microsoft is handling Xbox's first party output in terms of putting on the platform, but they're still having good games that's coming in. Obviously, we got to see these games. But for the most part, I get to play 2 Obsidian games this year.
Yeah.
It's looking like I'm going to get to play Fable. Like, this is what we've been asking for. Just we kind of wished it would have been different.
Yeah. This would have felt a lot sweeter, a lot more nastier, a lot more, vital if these games were like, these were just exclusives. If they were just straight like, saying coming to play, like it would definitely Xbox fans would be like, I think there would be more Xbox fans today.
Yeah, and I can tell you that like the Xbox hype in general is like, it's not gone, but it's dramatically been decreased. And like, look, we could sit there and we could say, it is a console war thing to a degree. But I think a lot of that is like, you don't understand, like these, like people like myself, we've been with this brand when no one was fucking with it.
Yeah.
When it was kind of stupid for you to publicly say that you was an Xbox fan. And a lot of us was like, we see the vision.
Yeah.
We just got to let them get to the vision. They got to be allowed to get to the vision. We got to give them the benefit of the doubt. We gave them the benefit of the doubt, and the vision came true, but then they were shot out of the sky before they landed.
Yeah.
Does it mean like these games are going to be any worse? No. If you're going to enjoy these games before, you're going to enjoy these games after. But it is a little disappointing to know that, everything that Microsoft and Xbox built the Xbox platform to be, Phil Spencer and Satya kind of like, they kind of took the wind out of the sail. And like, we can't sit here and like act like we know for a fact if like this is going to turn out well or bad or good for them. Because for all we know, Smoove, 2 or 3 years from now, if we're still doing content coverage, we're going to go up on a show and be like, damn, man, Microsoft had it. It's a good thing they didn't listen to us. Like, we don't know. I don't think that's going to happen, but we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, it does suck. We clearly don't agree with what they happen. It's just that people get mad because like I can't stand. That's why I can't stand deal with like these families.
They're like, what are we supposed to do about it?
Yeah, they're like why are you defending them? Like,
how many times do we have to come out and say we don't agree with this nonsense? And then people sitting here looking at us with a straight face and be like, why are you agreeing with them? I have been essentially deplatformed by the Xbox community because they don't fuck with me like that. They call me everything under the sun. Doom and gloom merchant. Yeah. I get called Ponybot. I get called what's another thing? The Mustard Heart, which Mustard Heart General, I like that one more than anything. But it's just like, I'm literally getting destroyed by my own community because I don't agree with it. I'm not one of these other people that, I'm going to move wherever Microsoft moves. Because that's what happened. Remember when that was first rumored that they were doing this? How many content creators said that this is the end for Xbox? This is not going to end well for Xbox. And then when they felt like this, like when Microsoft officially came out and said it, they moved with the program. Like the next day they were with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not that kind of person. Look, I don't agree with them. Do I think it's going to work out good for them? I don't. But once again, no one in the entire industry has ever done what they're doing. So who the hell knows what's going to happen to them in the end?
Yeah. One of the corniest things I can't stand is when people be like, oh, you guys aren't speaking up. Why are you defending it? It's like, speak up to what? They are like us saying like, let me flip-flop. That's going to make Xbox do something. That's going to make me a better person.
I've literally been told that I flip-flop. What? I flip-flop? What? Like, I'm like one of the worst people you could say I flip-flop.
Yeah, no, it's stupid. I think it's very corny. I think it's the corniest, simpiest shit that when grown-ass men try to tell me to stop defending something because I'm...
What it is, too, is it's the content creators. They rile up the Xbox viewership into thinking that, this is the way things are going, Xbox is going to be fine. But realistically, no one knows anything.
Yeah.
But all they do is set up the people that are speaking outside what the general masses are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these poor people how all the community's saying that this is fine, but Addict over here being the one doom and glooming. Let's dogpile him.
Yeah.
Okay, dogpile me. I don't give a fuck. Like, people act like that's gonna stop me from speaking.
Yeah, no, it's like people like we live in a where you got the people. Obviously, there's the Xbox guys who don't want to hear anybody talking speaking out against it,
and they're weirdos. They're straight up weirdos. They're the reason we're in the situation they are now. It's one thing to really vibe with a company and be like, yo, they're doing everything right by me as a consumer. It's another thing to dismiss everything they do wrong because you like, nah, I'm not for that. Like, they are the reason that the community's the way it is, and they're the reason that Xbox is making these moves. I mean, look what happened with Concord. Concord literally came out and is the worst game launch in history. Mm-hmm. It got canceled and refunded. And what was the excuse that came from behind the scenes, Smoove? Toxic positivity. There was no real criticism getting into the center of the universe because everyone on the outside said, no, man, this is lit. This is going to be the next Star Wars. Now look what happened. This is what happens when you let toxic positivity run wild. I'm sorry. I've said how long? How many years have I been talking about toxic positivity?
It's been a couple of years now.
Yeah, because I'd rather let people run wild saying crazy stuff and being overly negative because you could spot them bitches from a mile away. But there is literally people in the industry that they go wherever the masses go, and they never speak out against anything. And if it is anything wrong with the game, it is followed up almost immediately with an out, almost immediately.
Yeah, there's I feel like there's issues on wrong end. I think like obviously, you know, on the Xbox fan base, and then there's like the PlayStation fan base who I'm sorry, I just feel like the PlayStation fan base is just overly negative and just want anything to fight. It's like
oh yeah, they
just
bitches too.
I just want when does it like, and it's like when does it end? I feel like Xbox can like cease to exist and they would still be looking for Xbox fans to argue with. That shit that shit's got to be annoying. And my thing is, I'm gonna say this, right? PlayStation hasn't done. The thing is, the difference between PlayStation and Xbox, really, honestly, is popularity, right? PlayStation has had moments where they had no compelling things. PlayStation has had moments where their first parties haven't been producing anything. The difference is PlayStation still sells regardless. My thing is,
it's the worldwide name at this point.
If I am bored on a platform, I don't think I could give two shits if it's selling. It's just the last thing on my mind. So I'm like, these dudes, that's all they care about is that it's sold. It's sold. It's selling. It's outselling like Xbox. But I'm like, but are you having fun? Like, I don't want to hear anybody like when I pick and choose when I want to play an old game, right? These guys like, you know, talk shit like, oh, you're playing an old game. And these dudes are playing old games. And it's like, yo, keep that same energy, man. Keep that same energy. Like, none of these bucktooth beavers should really have anything negative to say about gaming or gaming on Xbox in 2025, considering that it's like this whole, like, even people still try to sneak in Xbox has like no games thing still again. I'm like, how can you say that? How can you say that? You want to know what you know what the consensus game of the year is right now? From like publications.
What?
The consensus game of the year have been, because now that everybody's looking at it holistically, a lot of publications have been picking Indiana Jones. Like,
yeah, it's a shame that game didn't come out a little earlier.
There's not a single publication outside of Jeff Keighley's awards that picked Astrobot as their game of the year.
I think the global awards did.
No, they picked Black Myth Wukong as the ultimate game of the year.
So that was their PlayStation game of the year then.
Yeah. it's like I don't know, man. I think IGN's Game of the Year award. I think it was ReFantazio. What's that? The pro Atlas game. Damn, Metaphor ReFantazio. I think that was their overall Game of the Year. For sure. It's like the year. Like a lot of publications had different Game of the Year awards. Keeley, his goal obviously was to increase the sales of Astrobot. So, but at the end of the day, like again, I think this year, Xbox has a real good chance at definitely having multiple nominations. I feel like everything that they're going to drop this year, like I don't think Avowed's going to be like a nomination, but I think didn't Outer Worlds get nominated the year that it released?
Yeah, Outer Worlds got nominated.
All right, so you got, I think Outer Worlds. I feel like that's just going to be a better game, a version of the game. I think South of Midnight won't get nominated, but I feel like South of Midnight is going to be a banger. I think it's going to be real good. I think it's going to be real good. When I say real good, it's going to be, I think South of Midnight is going to be what Hi-Fi Rush should have been had it got the proper promotion and build up before launching. You know what I mean? I think South of Midnight has real potential. I feel like clearly Doom is they're in a stratosphere where they're like almost a shot for a nomination. Fable, Playground Games has never missed. They've never missed. Now, granted, they've done all their expertise work in racing games, but at the end of the day, just because you make racing games doesn't mean you can't make anything else. You're a developer. A developer is a developer. You make games, right? I think Fable's going to be incredible. I think Fable's going to be incredible. I think what else that they got coming out? I just think that they're at a point where they can't be denied, and is going to be like a really good year for video games. Really good year for Xbox Game Pass, and really good year for those playing on the Xbox consoles, Xbox ecosystem. I don't know what thing Xbox is doing as far as like their third party consoles and handheld stuff. I guess whatever we'll see what CES does, but overall, man, I'm extremely stoked as an Xbox gamer, as someone that plays on the platform, plays within the ecosystem, plays on the console, or whether it be the PC within the ecosystem. My Xbox Game Studios has been one of my favorite publishers, with the exception, obviously, just like Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft has been my favorite third-party publisher. Them and Bandai. I like a lot of the stuff Bandai Namco does. They typically get some hits, and Ubisoft, like I said, they make solid hits. A lot of people just hate on them because that's the popular thing to do, and then obviously Xbox has some great IP, and they just have a console. So with one of the best controllers ever. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got, for today. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's been kind of a slow week. Next week, I think there's going to be some more stuff. Most likely next week when we record, there will be, the official announcement. We'll see a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, anything you got going on? Any upcoming videos we could look forward to, Addict?
No, not currently. I think I'm about to start reviewing a game here soon, so hopefully we'll see more info on that in the next couple weeks. Nice,
looking forward to it. I'm hoping that there's a game that I could get access to as far as review wise, but yeah. All right, guys, thank you guys for tuning in another episode of Playing Xbox Podcast. We will see you guys, tune in next week for another episode. Hopefully, at this point, Xbox would have made their announcement about developer direct, and we'll see the true games that will be there, and let's see how right we were. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. Shout out to Weapon Will Patreon. As always, Xbox is the best box. I am the best bot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. We are out of here. Peace.